Hey guys, this is Chris with 619 Trading. Today we are going to set up PortalBOT from scratch. So I hope you guys understand how to unzip the files and get everything located to a folder where you can easily find it on the desktop. I've created a shortcut to your desktop, or however means to actually execute the bot itself. So I've broken this down into 4 steps. Email, that's required, and currently PortalBOT only supports Gmail. So you're going to need to have a Gmail account. And then Telegram settings, where we go and create the bot and get your information for your notifications. And then the API settings, where we go to the exchange and set up the connection between the bot and the exchange. And then we're going to set up the actual trades on the TradingView platform. So without further ado, let's go ahead and we are going to start with the email section. All right, so once you create a new account, and I recommend that everyone creates a new account for the bot because of the fact that we are going to be turning on a setting which lowers the security a little bit on your account. So there is a setting that we're going to have to change that allows developers and apps access to your Gmail account. If you don't set this, change this setting, the bot won't receive the notifications from TradingView and execute the trade. So first thing you got to do, first of all, is to create a new account. Like I said, the fact that we're changing a security setting on your Gmail account makes it more vulnerable. So in other words, we don't want your sensitive information and your emails to get in any way compromised or take a chance thereof. So we need to create a new account for the bot. After you create the new account, the thing that we have to do is we're going to have to turn on a setting. So if you go to the little icon here and go to Google account, click that button on the left, click on security, and then we're going to scroll down to where it says less secure access here. So I have it turned on, but by default it's turned off. So if it is turned off, make sure you click this little slide this lever to the right to turn it on. Now, if you don't have this turned on, the bot will not receive the emails and execute the trade. So this is like a required step for the bot. Now, after you do that, make sure the bot is launched. You're going to go down to the settings section here. Now, under email, you're going to put your Gmail username, which is your email address, and then the password. After that, you're going to click on the test button. It's going to turn red while it tests. It takes about 5 seconds, and then you should see connected. Now, if you see anything else, that means that the bot, the password may be incorrect, or there may be a white space. So make sure you check that. All right, so we need to access 2 channels in Telegram. So if you don't have Telegram already, please go ahead and download it. Go to telegram.com, or if you're on your phone, just go to your app stores or your Google Play Store and download it. All right, so the first thing we need to do is go up to the search. I already have it here, but if you don't know how to get to the BotFather yet, or if you've never done so, just type @BotFather under the search bar, click on it, and then you're going to come up to into the channel. You're going to go ahead and type /start, and then you're going to have all of these options. So the first thing you need to do is you're going to create a new bot. We have to create a new bot so we can get notified. So we're going to do /new bot, and then we're going to call it whatever we want. So let's just say BitMEX. I'll just call it PortalBOT notifier. Great. So now that we've got the name, we have to actually create a username so it's different on their network. So we're going to call this the PortalBOT underscore notification underscore bot. PortalBOT 1 notification bot. Okay, so then it says congratulations, and then it's going to spit out your access token. You're going to need to copy and paste this into some sort of file that you can go back to later on, because we're going to have to copy and paste that into the bot. All right, so the next thing we need to do is we're going to have to get the chat ID, which is the other thing. Now you're going to type in @getID. You're going to come up with this web page, and then all you got to do is go /start, and then it should show you your chat ID, and it does. So we're going to copy and paste the chat ID, which mine is right here. Copy paste that somewhere, hopefully right next to your Telegram setting API token, and then we are going to copy and paste that into the bot. Okay, so once we have the API token and the chat ID, just go ahead and copy and paste it. The API token goes on the first line, chat ID on the second line. Hit the test button. It should say Telegram connected, and you should see a pop-up on your screen or on your phone. And then that's it. If it says Telegram connected, great. If not, go back, check the see if you missed a number or a letter, and yeah, that's it for Telegram. Okay, so the third step is to set up the API, which is the way that the bot will be communicating with the exchange. We're going to set up the API on the testnet. So let's head over to BitMEX testnet. Currently, the bot only supports BitMEX. We are working on getting Deribit futures and options in the next version, so bear with us on that. Yeah, so let's head over to the exchange, create a new API key, and then we'll be able to copy and paste that into here. Okay, we're on the BitMEX testnet exchange. We're just going to create a testnet account for testing purposes for now. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to account, and then you're going to go to API keys, and then we're going to have a name. Let's just call it bot. Okay, and then key permissions. The only one you need is the order. You don't have to hit the withdraw or order cancel. Just order is fine. And then after that, we're going to create the API key. It's going to create it. We're going to need to copy and paste the ID and the secret. Because we are going to need that for the bot. All right, so now that that's done, let's head back over to the bot and fill that out. Okay, so we're back on the bot. We are going to do the drop down, go to BitMEX testnet, and I'm going to call this demo. Okay, so before I do this, actually, let me explain a little bit here. So how this works is, this is quite obvious. You're gonna unless you want to trade live money, but I would say for starters, let's go ahead and do a testnet. Now the instance name is very important. If you want to be able to trade multiple instances, now what an instance is a combination of both the exchange and the trading pair. So currently BitMEX has something called rate limits. Unfortunately, rate limits the amount of APIs requests that we can send to it. They limit it, and they're pretty strict on limiting requests, since they have such high volume and a lot of customers that trade bots on their exchange. They have to limit the amount of requests they get per second, per minute. Actually, I believe it's 300 requests for 5 minutes. So when designing PortalBOT, we had to limit the number of pairs that you could trade at the same time. And currently, there's only 3 pairs that you could trade simultaneously at the same time on BitMEX only. Now, in the future, that could change if they decide to either expand their infrastructure to allow for more requests, or they ease up on the rate limits. Because comparing Binance and Deribit to BitMEX, it's like a night and day. You could have, I believe, up to like 300 requests per second on Deribit, and sort of the like on Binance, but for BitMEX, it's 300 requests per 5 minutes, which only gives you 60 requests per minute. And these requests are important because that's how you check your information, like current price, what your P&L is, and check on your trade. So if you cannot send requests, then you're not going to get up-to-date data, live data, as you expect. I mean, you don't want to be told of a minute later that you're in the red when you were in the green just a little bit ago. You kind of need to see where price is headed as quickly as possible. So for that reason, the developer and I had to calculate a good way to not get banned, for one, because they do ban if you submit more requests than they allow, and we don't want you guys to get your IPs banned. So that brings me up to another point: is only have one one version of PortalBOT open, at least on your IP address. If you're going to be running it from home, just have one open. If you're going to be running it from VPS and from home, then that's another topic completely. But anyways, the instance name, going back to the instance, is you have to have a unique instance name, and it should make sense to you, because when we go to the dashboard later on, you're going to see why. But for now, know that the instance name is the exchange along with the trading pair that you're referencing, ideally. But for this instance, we are just going to call this demo, just for the sake of simplicity, and just so you can see, just so we can get this up and running for now. And then once we get more into the interface, I'll explain how everything works. Okay, so we're going to fill out our information here. I'm going to start with the API key, fill that, and then the secret, that. And also make sure there's no white spaces, and there's not. And then you're going to hit the plus sign. This should go through as the BitMEX testnet with the instance name, API key, secret, and then make sure you hit the save button down below. Now this mute sound, there are sound effects in the bot. Like if you were to get into a trade, it has a little ding or whatever. If you don't want to hear that, go ahead and you can click that mute sound button if it gets on your nerves or whatever. It doesn't go crazy. There's just a ding if it gets in a trade. There's a ding if it exits a trade in profit. And then there's another ding if it exits a trade in a loss. So there's really, like, I think those are the only 3 sounds that I've put in the bot so far. So all right, so that is it for the APIs. In the next video, we are going to go on the TradingView platform and set up the actual signals which fire off through email to the bot, and then the bot takes that signal and executes the trade on the exchange. Stay tuned. All right, guys, welcome back. We are going to cover how to set up the TradingView alerts. Now, there's an important thing that you guys need to know. The bot by itself is only a program. You need to have a strategy or a signal generator, per se, on the TradingView platform via a Pine script. So if you guys are not familiar with Pine script, it's basically the language that you can use in order to set up strategies and alerts based on technical analysis. So like if there are two EMAs and they cross over, and it generates a sell signal, you want to be alerted to that. So if you're not familiar with those kinds of things, that's fine. I have a TradingView script that is a companion script that goes along with PortalBOT, which is completely free. You guys can feel free to download that. All you got to do, if you're familiar with TradingView, is just go to my profile, 619 Trading, look for scripts underneath. I have several. You can just grab the PortalBOT companion script or any of the PortalBOT scripts that are freely available on the platform, and see for yourself. So I've got one script here that I've been using for a while, and I use it on the daily time frame. Daily is a lot more dependable than the lower time frames, and if you want to trust in the bot to execute trades for you, you want as less false positives as possible. In other words, you don't want to be trading and spending real money on fake outs. And fake outs happen, especially if the market is not trending. If I scroll out a little bit here, you can see that basically we had the rise from about 4,000 all the way up to 14,000, and on the daily it's been kind of just up and down like a little roller coaster. It's basically consolidating, and I expect it to be consolidating for a few more months before before it starts its ascent again to higher levels. So having said that, I am not a financial advisor of any sort or type. So I do have Udemy classes, which I do teach how to trade margin on BitMEX and Deribit. I don't know if you guys have checked that out yet, but if not, go ahead. Feel free to take a look at it. 619 Trading. I'm out there. If you guys would like to learn a little bit more on how to do those types of things. But if you want to just have the bot do everything for you, you don't want to have any of your emotions spilling into your live trades, great. That's what the bot's for. Take away that emotion, and the bot is up 24/7. So while you sleep, or you're on vacation, or you're at work, whatever, the bot will perform those trades for you. That's all it is a software program that takes the signals from the platform and then sends it to the exchange. Now, the signal quality is determined through backtesting and optimization results. I have my own settings that I use. You guys can feel free to use your own custom script, whatever you guys want to. But either way, this is the basic way of setting up the alert. So what you're going to do is you're going to go over here to the alerts pane. It's got a little alarm clock here, and then you hover over it. It says alerts. You're going to click on the plus sign. And then once that opens, you're going to see condition and then a bunch of other stuff down here. So what we're concerned with here is I'm going to select the PortalBOT Pro script, and it's going to have a long entry, and you guys should all be very familiar what a long position is. It's when you buy. You believe the price is going to go up, you buy, right? Now the options that I set here are very important, so pay close attention. The options will be once per bar close. What this means is that the script that I am using will not repaint. After the bar is closed, that's it. It's done. There are other scripts out there that will repaint, and those are deceptive. So just be careful of that. I don't know why people don't choose once per bar close, but once it's closed, it's done. That's it. So make sure you select that as the option. Under expiration date, expiration time, you're going to click the drop down here, and you're going to want to scroll out as far as you can. You see the white lettering here. You're going to want to select the lettering that's the furthest away. So you don't have to worry about the time. Now, and that's basically it for expiration time. Now, alert actions, very important. Send email must be checked. If you don't have send email, the bot will never receive the email to fire off the signal. So please make sure that send email is checked. And then if you guys want to, you can add a webhook, which is basically going to a website. You can have it formatted to where you'll actually receive the signals coming in live to a web page, which is pretty cool. You can have a pop-up, which will pop up on your screen. It'll basically just come through Windows 10 or Windows 7 notifications where it'll say it entered a trade. And then you can have a sound or whatever. This send email to SMS is not necessary. I would actually recommend you don't even put anything in there. But this must be the one that is checked out of all of these. Okay. Now, after the alert actions, you must enter in some data here. Now, let me explain the message part. The message part is very finicky, and you must type exactly as you have it. So I'm going to just type out the syntax, and then I'm going to explain it. So okay, this is the syntax. So where do we get demo from? Demo is the instance name. So when we created the instance name in the bot, if you remember from the last video, we called it demo. Now, demo must be spelt, it's case sensitive, so it must be spelt with a capital D, because I spelt demo with a capital D in the bot. Can't be all caps, can't be all lowercase. It has to be exactly how you had it in the bot. If not, it will not work. It will not fire off the trade, and you'll be sitting there scratching your head wondering why the trade didn't fire off. Now, the next part of the syntax is the actual the pair. So XBT USD, if you're familiar with BitMEX exchange, BitMEX calls Bitcoin XBT. The trading pair is called XBT USD, as the chart here is, and it shows you at the top here, XBT USD, right? So this must be all caps. Actually, everything after the instance name has to be all caps. Now, buy is buy because I'm in a long entry. That will go to sell once I go to the next step, which I'm going to do right now. Now, after you do this, after you set this up, go ahead and click create. It'll add the alert here, and it should be in green, and here it is right here. Demo XBT USD buy. All right, so let's create another one. It's for practice. Condition, change it to your script. Short entry is what we're going to look for. Now, there's a lot of things here. You don't have to worry about that. The only things you need to worry about are the first four, at least on my script. Other scripts may differ, but for my script, the first four options are the only thing we need to worry about. We're going to click once per part close again, go to expiration time, set it out. Then we're going to do the same thing, except this time we are going to be selling because we're shorting. Okay? So for short selling, it's sell. Kind of makes sense. And then click on the create button, and then that gets created. Now, there are two other conditions. I'm going to go ahead and just do them just so I can be thorough and show you. The next one is called long exit. That's when it actually gets the signal to exit the trade. demo XBT-USD. Now the keyword on the third word is close. So when it exits, it's closing the trade. So it's going to be demo, instance name, trading pair, keyword, which is close, and then hit create. And that's for the long, so we're going to have to do another one for the shorts. Short exit, once per bar close. Put it out a little bit. All right. And then we're going to do the same syntax. Close. And that's for the shorts. All right. So we should have 4 signals. We have XBT buy right there. We've got XBT USD sell. And then we've got the 2 XBTs for the short exit and the long exit. So that's basically what it comes down to. As long as those are correct syntax wise, there should be no reason. And as long as you have the email pointed at your email account, which brings me to another thing. If you created a new email account, you're going to have to set your profile up for the new email address. So if you don't know how to do that, you go to the top left corner of the screen, and then you go to settings here, and then under private details, just go ahead and hit change email right here. Once you change your email, you can put whatever email address you want to use. And that's it, guys. That is all there is to setting the bot up. Now we need to go to the instances part of the videos and actually set up the position sizing, leverage, all that kind of good stuff. So I'll see you guys over there right now. Okay, so once we have the trading view portion done, we're basically after we got the settings configured, now we have to configure the instances. So going back to the instances, if you look over here on the right under BitMEX, you're going to have to click the little arrow thing here. You'll see 3 things, BitMEX 1, 2, and 3. These are instances. So if you click on the first instance, you're going to see a new page here where it's going to kind of look confusing at first, but bear with me. All right, so the first thing you need to do is you're going to have to set the instance up. And the way to do that is to put the drop down, and then you're going to have to click the save button. All right, once you click the save button, your available balance should come through right below here. Okay. Another thing you need to do is you're going to need to sign into your TradingView account, or you don't have to, but I prefer to see my trades in action in live so I can sort of compare things. Now, under current prices, these are all the trading pairs for BitMEX, including futures. So if you click on XBT-USD, just like we showed you in the last video, you will see all of the signals for the indicator. So we're going to scroll to the right. I like to full screen this because I try to get as much room as I can. In a future release, we're going to try to make this a little bit bigger, but we had to make everything a little bit more compact so laptops and the like can, by default, can get this entire app inside of their screen settings. So it's just like looking on the TradingView page. I was able to log in, and I'm able to see my signals right here. Now, since I'm on XBT-USD, let's scroll down. The thing we need to do before we execute any trades is to calculate your position size. And there's this little handy dandy built inside of the bot position size calculator. So you don't have to go to anti-liquidation or try to figure it out on your own. We've spent about a week on creating this position size calculator. Tested it thoroughly, tested it against the exchange. It is correct. Even with altcoins, it'll work. So um, what I like to do is I've set these up by risk. So this is based on your risk. So if you want to do a 1% risk-based position size using cross leverage and a stop loss. Now a lot of people are gonna do something like create the stop loss and then adjust it based on technical analysis. That is perfectly fine. That's actually what you should do. But I base the stop loss based on back tested data on what successful trades were, um, and I found the stop loss placed at about a 1.75 to 2%. Um, was really good during a trending market. Now, during a consolidated market like it is right now, that stop loss will probably be a lot higher. So, one thing to note is the higher your stop loss. So, say if it's like a 5% stop loss, and that will affect your position size. So, I'll demonstrate that right now. As long as you have hit the save button and you have your available balance below, you select a risk percent, you can click the calculate size button and it'll calculate the size of how many contracts that you should be using for this particular trade. Now the stop loss is 2% and I'm using cross leverage, right? But what if I wanted to use a 3%? Okay, I'm going to calculate size again. And since this is a very, very, very small account of 0.01, all new accounts on testnet get basically a 0.01 XBT start. I don't know why they're so cheap. It's not like we can sell the testnet tokens for any money. There are testnet faucets out there. If you open up a testnet account, under account, you will see the testnet faucets links above. I'm actually going to go and get some more Bitcoin to play around with, but this is the accurate amount of contracts based on a 3% at a 2% stop loss. Now, if I were to go, say, a 5% stop loss, it's going to be quite a lot less. Okay, so the higher stop loss, the more, I guess, risk that you're gonna be taking on, because you could potentially lose 5%. But if you're using 3% of your portfolio, you're still going to lose 3%, but you have a wider, I guess, leeway for the trade to breathe. Okay. Now, leverage has nothing to do with position size, but it does have something to do with cost. I'll show you here. Use a 10% leverage. And we're going to use a custom size of, say, 5%. Okay. I recommend not going above 3. This is just demonstration purposes. Okay. Now, we are going to lower stop loss back down to 2. I'm going to calculate size. Now, at a 5%, 255, the cost is 0.0025. And that's based on a 10%. Or 10% leverage, or 10x leverage, I should say. Lower this down to 5. And we're going to hit calculate size again. Now, calculate size, another thing is, every time you hit the calculate size button, it sends an API request. Now, we had to send a, we had to set up sort of a timer on that, so people aren't just sitting there hitting calculate size, because if we just had a free-for-all on the calculate size button, people's IP address would be banned from BitMEX, and then they would be mad at us because we didn't have these sort of, I guess, safety precautions so that you wouldn't get banned. So that is why the calculate size button goes away and then comes back. I think there is a 10 to 15 second delay. So you just got to wait after you hit the last button for it to come back. So like I was saying, we're going to use a 5% leverage, or 5x leverage, and then we are going to use, we'll use the same risk percentage. And then it's going to calculate that for us. And the cost just went up to 0.005. Now, as you can see, the contracts are the same because we didn't change the position percentage or the risk percentage or the stop loss percentage. All we did was change the leverage. So the thing that changed was the cost. Now, once you have the contract size and you're happy with that, you have to hit the execute button. If you don't hit the execute button, your trade will never go through. So you have to hit the execute button. Another thing is this little BitMEX overload indicator. When it's set status is okay, then that means BitMEX overload is occurring. We get APIs coming back into the bot, which tells us that there are HTTP overload errors, and the status will turn to overload in red, and the bot will stop actually, because if you just keep sending API requests, chances are that you're going to get banned because they will eventually queue up and then go through. So just got to be careful about that. Now, another thing on the instance section is the manual trades. I'll have to stop this trade in order to show you, so I'm going to do that. So manual trades, the only thing that changes is the order type. So if you want to do limit orders, that's another thing, is the auto trader only does market orders. And if you're in it for the long haul, if you have the mindset of this is not a get rich quick scheme, this is just a convenient way for me to play my strategy and not be sitting in front of a computer 24/7, then that's great. Now, if you want to use PortalBOT as a trading terminal, you can, and that's the advantage here, is that you can set these up to, I mean, you could do a market buy or market sell, but really you want to take advantage of doing the limit orders, then you do that here. And it's basically like BitMEX. You put your quantity, you put your price you want to buy, and then or sell, and then just click which way you're going, and that's it. You will see your orders come down here. I will show you an example right now. We're going to buy 10 contracts at, let's say, a price is currently 10,215. Looks like it might be going down. Let's make one for 10,200, and we'll put a buy order in. So you heard the ding. Now once you put the buy order in, okay, now you guys are probably wondering why did it go through if the price is still at 10,217? And the reason why it went through is because the testnet and the actual live exchange are off. They are always off. This has been a big criticism of the testnet in that the prices don't really aren't really aligned exactly. The testnet usually follows the live price, but it kind of does its own things. And I've seen price fluctuate as much as $200-$300 sometimes. So another thing is that XBT-USD here you're seeing is the actual live exchange. There is no testnet on TradingView, so you cannot get TradingView live prices. So we're basically going off of the BitMEX price, and that's actually going to be the same with Deribit, unless Deribit gets its stuff together and gets actually put out on the TradingView platform as well. So yeah, that's one thing to keep in mind, is that you're going to see a price difference. So just be careful. I mean, yeah, it's not real money, but don't get confused. Okay, so price is 10,015, but it got an entry at 10,195. Well, you know why now. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and close this guy out. Okay, probably came for a loss, but that's okay. And then you can actually go into order history, see where it filled, that kind of thing. Um, yeah, the and you're gonna go through the next instance here the same way. You're gonna go to the drop down, click demo, hit save. Once you get the available here, you can change the chart here on the right. Okay, we're gonna go make this full screen just like I did the first one. Okay, it's full screen. Now we're in ETH USD. Looks like it's got a short, but if you last week, it looks like on the 9th of August, we are on the 22nd. So that was quite a ways ago. Still on the 1 day. Okay. Um, Now we're going to next. Let's set up a trade. We're gonna use let's use cross leverage this time. Make this give this a 3% stop loss. Calculate size. 34 contracts. Woohoo! Hit execute. And then once the signal comes in to sell, it won't do anything because it's already in a short. But once the signal comes in to either buy, which well it'll close the call, and then it'll buy. Close the call. It's not an option. So it'll close the previous signal, which is this sell somewhere sometime. So it's basically a waiting game till that happens, and then it's either going to go short again or it's going to go long. So I am basically waiting on the trade, and we're going to set up another instance. Demo, save, and we're going to do futures this time. You could do anything you want. I'm just going to do futures. You can do Litecoin. You can do all of any trading pair on BitMEX you can do. Okay. So, okay, this has got a short from a few days ago. Looks like last week. So, yeah, I'm just basically stuck waiting, just like all the other pairs. So, I'm going to use cross. Actually I'm going to set this up a little higher. Futures can get a little jiggly jaggly sometimes. Gotta wait for this guy to come back. Okay, calculate size 123. Execute. Yeah, it's really you're not going to get a lot of contracts trading $100 account. So that's basically what the testnet account is $100, a little over. But yeah, guys with 10, 20 Bitcoin are going to get a lot more contracts and make a lot more money and potentially lose a lot more money. All right, so here's the thing. Since this is an embedded web page, you're going to get this your chart layout was changed. If you do, make sure you click this little checkbox and hit continue. And that'll go away. It won't come back unless you close the bot down. And just checking all my instances. Okay. All right, so yeah, everything's set. I've got everything in execution. Everything's executed except for that one. All right, now it's executed. And so basically just waiting for the trade to come to me at this point. We can go over to the dashboard. Dashboard's kind of a cool page where you will see the any instances that you have below. As we add exchanges, it is very possible you're going to have a lot of instances. So you might have 10 instances, right? You might have different accounts. So like Deribit has sub accounts. You might have 3 sub accounts. So you'll have 3 instances, right? So if you're still confused about instances, it's the exchange and the pair, right? I'm using the same pair for this API, for this exchange, but say if I had another sub account, or rather another account that I wanted to use on BitMEX. The thing is that you could still use, you still have 3, and you can't have more than 3 instances. So you might have demo 1 on a different API key going long on Bitcoin. You could have demo 2, which is an entirely separate BitMEX account going short on Bitcoin. And it doesn't matter with the bot. As long as you have an API key and an API secret for those accounts, you can have different instances. Does that make sense to you? I hope it does. So think about it as going long on one account, going short on another account. Those are two separate instances. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, back to the dashboard. The dashboard is a kind of a just a basic kind of interface where you're going to see the current price, total market cap, Bitcoin dominance, and the fear and greed index, which is kind of cool to see. Okay, everybody's kind of scared. Is this a good time to buy? Well, it very well could be if you're looking to buy into altcoins or Bitcoin. And then you're going to have the P&L today and how much that is in US dollar. And then at the top, you're going to have the total P&L, which is basically all of your trades on the bot since its inception. So it's going to basically combine all of the exchanges as well eventually in the future. So if you have, if later on we have 6 exchanges, that's where you're going to see all of your money that you've earned or lost over time since you started using the bot. So, all right, guys. Well, that is basically it. Oh, one more thing. This is kind of cool. So if you go down to help, and you'll see sort of a log here of what the bot is doing. So if you get a bunch of errors, now this error can be ignored, but if you're not able to set anything up, or if your bot is not getting trades, or if you're getting pop-up errors, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to export this log, attach it, send us a message here under the ticket request form, put a subject, put your email address, and the email address that you should use is your email address that you set up here. If you use a different email address, I've seen at least from an iPhone, I've seen that not go through because you're using a different email address. It's kind of like a relay protection. Now, Android, I've seen it actually go through, but on iOS it doesn't if you're doing this from your phone. Okay, and then you just put your message in here, say, I'm getting pop-ups, attach the log, and then hit send. That'll come to us. We'll take a look at it. There's also support in this Discord group here, as well as the wiki. Basically reiterates everything that I've talked about here. Okay, guys, that pretty much does it for the, I guess, a basic intro on how to set up the bot, plus how to set up your instances, plus how to use the various menus and options on the bot itself. So it's a great tool. Like I said, it's not a instant money maker. That's going to depend on the strategy that you use, the time frame, as well as the amount that you're trading with. Also, always try to use good risk management. Even if it's just a small amount, $100, you're going to have bad trades no matter how good your strategy is. So that's the reason why we use the 1 to 3% per trade. That is the general standard on risk management on position sizing. So always use risk management, which includes position sizing, stop loss. Sort of use low leverage. I like to use cross leverage myself, but that's entirely up to you. And yeah, that's basically it. You guys, if you guys have any questions, please come over to our Discord, ask away. Or if you are interested in trying out a trial of our bot, go out to PortalBOT.io website and download the free 2-week trial. And let us know what you think. If you have any issues setting up the bot, you have any questions, please feel free to let us know in Discord. All right, you guys have a good one, and I'll see you next time.